Imagine getting a letter, sealed up tight with instructions. Don't open this until I'm gone.
Right. And it's not just any letter. It's part confession, part plea, part final instructions.
Exactly. And that's the core of our deep dive today, this really compelling premise.
We're talking about a deeply personal letter from an old man, Nabi, written to his friend and Mr. Markos.
And it covers, well, his entire life, really. Relationships, incredibly tough choices.
And all set against the backdrop of Afghanistan's turbulent history.
Yeah. So our mission here is to unpack that powerful emotional story, those surprising insights hidden in this very private narrative.
It's quite a unique window, isn't it, into a life lived with this really unwavering, if sometimes complicated loyalty.
And Nabi sets the stage right away, doesn't he? That instruction to Markos.
Oh, absolutely. Don't open till I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks back so fondly on their friendship, those 7 years.
The tomato planting, morning tea.
Yeah, the language lessons, Farsi and English. You feel his gratitude, not just to Markos, but his colleagues too, like Ms. Amra Adamovich and her daughter Roshi.
But there's another layer, right? The letter isn't just for Markos.
No, that's key. It's meant to be passed on to someone else.
Which means he has to repeat things Markos already knows, but for her benefit.
Exactly. He calls it part confession, but also, practical things. Stuff Markos needs to help with after he's gone. It shows real thought about how his life closes out.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning of Nabi's journey. Who was he? His age is a bit fuzzy, he admits.
Yeah, like many Afghans back then. He thinks maybe 1933, possibly linked to King Nader Shah's death. But what's really clear is how he frames his whole life story.
Around one person.
Around Mala Wadadi. She really bookends the whole account.
So he moves from his village, Shadbagh, to Kabul in 46. Works somewhere else for a year.
And then joins Mr. Sultan Wadadi's household in 1947.
Now, this seems straightforward, maybe moving for work, for opportunity. But Nabi reveals more, doesn't he, about why he left Shadbagh.
He does, and this is his first sort of raw confession. It's quite telling.
What does he say?
He admits feeling totally stifled by village life. His sisters, one was an invalid. He felt trapped.
So it wasn't just about sending money home.
No, not entirely. It was also youthful dreams, a real desire, almost desperation to escape. He saw his future drying up there. It really highlights how our big choices, even seemingly selfless ones, are often tangled up with our own needs, our own yearning for something else.
And wow, what a contrast he walks into. The Wadadi house, you describe it as opulent.
Oh, incredibly so. Sparkling white walls, huge asphalt driveway, this grand foyer with a walnut mirror, glistening marble floors.
Huge kitchen, you said.
Big enough to feed his whole village, he says.
Mm-hmm.
Modern appliances, everything. Even the bathrooms are fancy carved marble and lapis.
And the backyard.
Lush. He calls it a finer place to live on Earth. Jasmine, sweetbriar, geraniums, tulips. A beautiful veranda overlooking it all.
But Nabi's own room.
A simple shack out back. Clean but basic. Just space for a bed, desk, chair, prayer rug. Simple then, and actually it's simple later too, as we'll find out.
So, in this grand house, what were Nabi's jobs?
He was the cook, learned from his mother, and an Uzbek cook, apparently.
Oh, okay.
And the chauffeur, driving Mr. Wadadi's car, this mid-40s blue Chevrolet.
He took pride in being a good driver.
A skilled and prudent one, yeah. Mr. Wadadi didn't like driving. Nabi felt he was a good servant because he paid close attention, watched all of Mr. Wadadi's little habits.
Like the morning walks?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mr. Wadadi hated walking alone, so Nabi went too, always a few steps behind because of Mr. Wadadi's long strides.
And the rest of the day, Mr. Wadadi kept to himself.
Mostly in his study, yeah. Reading, playing chess against himself, or drawing with charcoal. Nabi saw him drawing, but Mr. Wadadi never shared the drawings with him.
There were regular drives, too.
Weekly visits to his mother. Nabi describes her as heavy, pompous, with these anxious dogs she apparently despised. Sometimes family gatherings, though Mr. Wadadi wasn't keen, and monthly trips to an art supply store.
But you mentioned these other drives,
Yeah.
aimless ones.
Yes, those are really striking. Just driving around Kabul or even outside the city, Mr. Wadadi just sitting in the back looking out the window.
And Nabi's impression.
That he looked like the most lonesome person on earth. Really profound observation coming from his driver.
Still, Mr. Wadadi seemed kind in some ways, lending Nabi the car.
Surprisingly generous, yeah. Once a month, Nabi could drive back to Shadbagh. He says the kids there greeted him like a celebrity. And he often gave rides to Abdullah Sibur's son, who'd always bring baby Pari. Nabi let Abdullah play with the wipers, honk the horn, little moments.
And Nabi's initial take on Mr. Wadadi was, well, quite off, wasn't it?
Completely. He saw him as this mystifying creature.
Yeah.
Rich, but no real job, no passion, no drive to leave a mark.
A life lived from the back seat was the phrase.
Yeah, observed as it blurred by an indifferent life. But Nabi explicitly says later how wrong he was about that.
That misjudgment feels important. Foreshadowing, maybe.
Definitely. It shows Nabi's own perspective at the time, and hints that there's much more to Mr. Wadadi than meets the eye.
Okay, let's turn to Nyla, the enigmatic Nyla. Nabi's first encounter sounds like it was burned into his memory.
Absolutely unforgettable for him. Mr. Wadadi, wearing a new suit, has Nabi drive him to this posh neighborhood,
Yeah.
a house even bigger than his own, cypress trees.
And while Nabi's waiting in the car,
Nyla comes out. Sunglasses, tangerine dress, short sleeves, bare legs. Nabi describes this immediate physical reaction, a burning spread from his cheeks up his neck.
he confesses to being intensely attracted.
Yeah, he calls it a somewhat distasteful confession. He was in his late 20s, prime of his desires, he says. He felt no prostitute he'd known, even compared to her.
Wow.
He watched her light a cigarette with this bewitching grace, compares her hand to something from a book of poems. It's very visceral, almost primal.
It really speaks to her impact on him, right? Challenging his ideas.
Completely.
Yeah.
And that very night, Mr. Wadadi announces they're getting married. Nabi was surprised, thought his boss liked being alone more than that.
And the news spread. Rumors.
Oh yeah, among the other household staff cooks, gardeners who gathered in Nadi's shack, this one guy, Zahid, who Nabi calls repulsive,
What did Zahid say?
claimed Mr. Wadadi's family disapproved. Said Nyla had poor character, no Nangan Namus, no honor, a huge deal in that culture, right? Your reputation, your family's dignity.
And Zahid wrote poems about her.
But her supposed promiscuity, yeah. And Nabi, surprisingly maybe, defended them both. Told the men off for gossiping, reminded them who they worked for.
Which didn't go over well.
Met 'em mocked. Ode to Nabi, the liquor of many asses. Charming.
But here's the interesting part. Nadi defended them, but
He admits he stuck around, stayed within earshot. He was revolted and fascinated, didn't want to miss a single lurid detail.
that internal conflict again, loyalty versus fascination.
Exactly. It's very Nabi. Anyway, the engagement was super short. Days, quick ceremony signatures. Nyla moved in less than 2 weeks after he first saw her.
And Nabi sensed trouble in the marriage right away.
Immediately. Little tenderness, little affection. Sharing a house, but barely connecting. Nabi still served Mr. Wadadi his precise breakfast.
Toast, half a boiled egg.
Just so, while Nyla slept till noon.
But Nabi found himself waiting for her.
He describes aching for the moment she'd appear on the veranda, playing games in his head, guessing what she'd wear, pretending to be busy, but watching her.
In her routine.
Writing poems, usually on the veranda, always smoking. Evening meals were silent, just a muttered thank you.
But somehow a connection started to form between Nabi and Nyla.
Slowly, yeah. Through the chauffeur duties, mostly. Once or twice a week, he'd drive her for cigarettes, pens, makeup.
And he'd prepare himself.
Meticulously. Even wore his dad's old lambskin cap. Hoped Mr. Wadadi hadn't spilled the beans about his suit being a hand-me-down.
He tried to extend the drives.
Took minor detours, yeah, but maintained rigid self-control. Didn't look at her in the mirror. Just having her there, her scent, was enough for him.
And their first real talk happened in the car.
Yeah, she asked about Shaba. Nabi struggled, couldn't think of anything interesting.
Until he mentioned the grape.
The fragile grape that only grows there supposedly dies of sadness if you move it. Though he admits it's just soil and water, really. Nyla called the story lovely.
That encouraged him.
It did. So he told the Mullah Shakib story next, about the lines on Muslim palms making Arabic numbers 81 and 18.
And the travelers seeing it on a Jew's palm.
And the Mullah saying, then the Jew is a Muslim at heart. And Nyla just burst out laughing. Her laughter bewitched him.
That laughter was a turning point for him.
Huge. He said it made him feel more than ordinary. It wasn't just her beauty, you see. It was how she broke all his rules about how women should be. That mystery, that allure. Her laugh made him feel seen.
So they started talking more regularly?
Daily, on the veranda. Nabi would pretend to be busy nearby. He felt privileged. She talked to him, thought he was the only one who eased her loneliness.
And she shared stories with him.
Yeah, she did most of the talking. A hunting trip, a childhood trip to France, the train, the ship.
While Nabi was wrestling with his own feelings.
Completely. He confesses to stealing glances, her painted toenails, her legs, her breasts. Wondering about the men who'd touched her, thinking, what was left to do in life once you had done that? That intense, unmet longing.
And Nyla started confiding in him about Mr. Wadati.
She did, found him aloof and often arrogant. Nabi himself had noticed how Mr. Wadati would correct his speech or ignore him, making him feel small.
She called him an old man trapped in a younger man's body.
Yeah, suggested he should live with his mother. Nabi saw the tension on those drives to the mother-in-law's house. Said their fights didn't end, they just sort of dissipated, leaving this lingering taint.
Nabi wondered why she married him at all.
He did. Guessed it might have been an escape from something worse, especially for women back then, with fewer options.
Which brings us to this really pivotal moment, this life-altering decision. The trip to Shadbagh in fall 1950.
Right. Nala just asks Nabi out of the blue, "Take me to Shadbagh, I want to meet your family, see where you're from." Said she knew almost nothing about him.
How did Nabi feel?
Thrilled by her interest, he says buoyed, but also really apprehensive, worried about showing her his family's poverty.
She dressed up for the village trip. High heels.
High heels and a sleeveless peach dress, yes.
Sure.
On the way, she asked about his family, Abdullah, who was nearly 9, Pari almost 2.
Nabi mentioned his sister was pregnant.
Yes, and then made that grim comment about winter taking a child or two every year in the villages. Nyla just muttered, "God!" You sense it hitting her, the harshness of it.
And in the village, how did people react to Nyla?
The kids went silent. But Nyla was apparently very kind, patient, knelt down, smiled, shook hands, stroked cheeks. The villagers gathered to watch. His old friend Batullah, Mola Shakib,
But the older men.
looked on with displeasure at her bare arms. That cultural clash again. Subtle, but there.
And inside his family's home, Sabur and Parwana's place.
Nabi felt deep shame. Cracked mud walls, ripped mattress, fly-specked window. Parwana, his sister-in-law, was silent, just shriveled up.
But Nyla tried to be cheerful, admired the carpet.
Yeah, their lovely carpet. A Turkoman rug, red with elephant footprints. Their only valuable thing, Nabi notes. And it was sold that winter. Abdullah served tea, but was very guarded with Nyla.
Nyla asked about Pari.
Praised Parwana's baby, complimented Abdullah on being polite, then asked about Pari. Abdullah said curtly she was asleep. Sabur made him go get her.
And Nabi talks about the bond between Abdullah and Pari.
He calls it extraordinary, a mystery. Abdullah was like a little father to her. Walked her, changed her, soothed her, carried her everywhere, like a coveted trophy.
So when Abdullah brought Pari out,
Nyla tried to hold her, but her awkward bounces showed she wasn't used to kids. Pari cried. Abdullah snatched her back with this cutting look of suspicion, fiercely protective.
Nyla called Pari beautiful.
Darling, beautiful as a fairy. But Abdullah's face just got cloudy. He wasn't having it.
Then the drive back to Kabul, that's when Nyla broke down.
Completely. Sobbing uncontrollably. Nabi had to pull over. She thanked him for the visit, praised the kids.
And Nabi tried to comfort her, saying she'd have her own kids soon.
Just a natural thing to say, right? But that's what triggered the big reveal.
Nyla's confession.
Yeah. She says, "It's gone. They scooped it all out of me in India. I'm hollow inside."
Wow. How did Nabi react?
Speechless. But he reached out, took her hand. She squeezed it gratefully. They just sat there, looking out at the plains. He mentions this wasn't the first time she'd withdrawn like that, these periods of deep despair. Her father used to have to visit, intervene. Suggests a long struggle.
And this leads Nabi to his own confession about the proposal that came next.
Right. The idea to bring Pari to live with the Wadatis. He claims he had mostly clean conscience, honest intentions, believed it was for the greater long-term good.
But he admits other motives, too.
He does. Honorable, self-serving motives. Mainly wanting to give Nyla something no other man could, give her a child.
It's that complex motivation again, isn't it? Compassion mixed with personal desire.
Absolutely. He went to Sabur first, knowing his pride, knew he wouldn't take money. Sabur had even stopped Nabi sending money to Parwana before.
So Nabi couldn't just offer cash.
No. Then he asked Nyla to present the idea to Mr. Wadati as her idea. Nabi figured Mr. Wadati didn't have much paternal instinct, even wondered if Nyla's infertility was why he married her. Calculated move.
Nabi focused on Nyla's reaction, her gratitude.
Yeah, her tears, her thanks, and his hope that she'd finally see him as more than the loyal servant. He thinks Mr. Wadati only agreed because of Nyla's formidable will.
And Sabur's walk to Kabul, walking Puri instead of riding in Nabi's car.
Such a powerful image. Penance. Pride. Unwilling to ride with man buying his daughter, as Nabi puts it.
The separation itself sounds devastating.
Nabi calls it a terrible scene. at the mosque as he drove them away. Just emotional mayhem. Pari, almost 4, screaming Abdullah's name, kicking him.
Abdullah fighting his father.
Yeah. And Nyla, wide-eyed, covering her mouth, trying not to scream herself. Nabi says, it weighs on me, still weighs on me. You feel the burden he carried from that moment.
And Pari was immediately told to call them Mama and Papa.
Yes. No more Kakanabi, no more cook driver. Mama, Papa. Nella started teaching her French right away. A complete break, a new identity forced on her.
So, Pari arrives. How did Mr. Wadadi react initially?
A bit chilly at first, Nabi says. But Pari's sadness, her homesickness, it disarmed him pretty quickly.
He started doting on her.
Pushing her stroller on the morning walks, letting her honk the car horn. He even hired a carpenter to make her furniture trundle bed, chest, armoire, all painted yellow, her favorite color.
And Mr. Wadadi painted on the armoire himself.
Giraffes and monkeys. Nabi says it was the first time he'd ever seen his boss's artwork. Tari's arrival really changed the house, made it feel like a proper family.
They started doing things together.
Meals together, walks to the park, sitting on a bench. Nabi noticed this subtle shift in the whole atmosphere. Less desolate.
But for Nabi, this had an unexpected downside, didn't it? His role changed.
Yeah, he felt himself receding. And he felt resentment. He'd hoped for something extraordinary. He saw himself as the one who made Nyla a mother, gave her an antidote to her sadness.
He admits he hoped for more than just friendship.
He says he was not so foolish to think they'd become lovers, but then immediately says that wouldn't be entirely truthful. He definitely hoped for some kind of deeper connection, something unique.
It's that very human thing again, isn't it? We are waiting for something extraordinary.
Exactly. But Pari just consumed Nyla's time. Their veranda chat stopped. Nyla seemed distracted, hurried when they did talk. Nabi admits feeling a shade of resentment toward my niece. It's honest. Painfully so.
And the connection to Pari's birth family was completely severed.
Totally. No contact allowed. Nabi tried visiting Shadba with gifts, but Sabur was cold, told him not to come back. Nabi knew then he was the instrument of his family's rupture. He never saw them again. A huge, painful consequence.
Then spring 1955, tragedy strikes Mr. Wadadi.
A massive stroke. Nabi heard Nyla scream, found Mr. Wadadi struggling, pale, making guttural sounds, right arm useless.
Pari saw him.
Yes, she was 6. She screamed too. Nabi got her out quickly, told Nyla to take her away. Then he got Zahid, the gardener, to help carry Mr. Wadadi to the car. Nabi even hit Zahid for hesitating. High stress moment. Took 2 weeks before Mr. Wadadi could come home.
And life after the stroke.
Chaos initially. Visitors constantly, mostly for the mother-in-law. Lots of tears, black clothing. But the Mr. Wadadi they knew was gone. Half his face frozen, legs useless, only his left arm worked. Spoke in grunts. Doctor said he felt things, just couldn't express them.
Did he tolerate the visitors?
Not really. He'd shoot in the way, turn his face. Even with Pari, he'd gently dismiss her, knowing his state upset her.
Nyla found the quiet afterwards a relief.
She did. Retreated mostly to Pari's room, which infuriated her mother-in-law, who called Nyla heartless, said she had a gaping hole in her soul.
But Nabi says the mother-in-law wasn't entirely wrong.
Partly accurate, he concedes. It was Nabi who ended up being the constant presence at the bedside. Giving pills, talking to the doctor. Nyla just couldn't handle it. Nabi found her sobbing, unable to even feed him. It shows different coping mechanisms, different capacities for care.
And then Nyla made her decision to leave.
Yeah, for Paris. With Pari. She told Nabi she felt relieved, I think, about leaving Mr. Wadadi. Asked Nabi to keep her destination secret.
And she said something really cryptic to Nabi just before she
Well,
left.
she did. It was you, Nabi. It was always you. Didn't you know?
What do you think she meant? How did Nabi take it?
It completely throws you. Nabi says he didn't understand it then. He just wept like a child after she left. But looking back, it suggests maybe Nyla relied on him, felt a connection with him, far deeper than he ever realized or let himself believe. It makes you rethink their whole dynamic.
So Nyla and Pari are gone. The visitors fade away.
Until it's just Sulan's mother left, mostly visiting to complain about Nyla. Harlot, liar, drunk, coward. And Nabi becomes Suleiman's main support.
His interpreter, almost.
His de facto interpreter, yeah. Understanding the groans, the mumbles, water, bedpan, turnover.
And Nabi took on everything.
Dismiss the other staff. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, gardening, repairs, all him. Suleiman worried he'd wear yourself out, told him to take any salary. Nabi refused.
He stopped socializing with the other workers, too.
Yeah, didn't care what they thought anymore. A whole new dynamic formed between them. This unthinkable informality. born out of necessity, out of their shared isolation.
They even argued.
Like an old married couple, almost. About food, chess, bath water, the bedpan. Nabi admits sometimes, when angry, he'd leave the house for hours just to make Suleiman worry. But he always came back. It was this strange, intense bond.
And then Nobby finds the sketchbooks. That's a huge moment.
Incredible discovery. Cleaning a closet one summer, finds sketchbooks.
Yep.
Page after page, it's all drawings of him.
Nobby.
Doing everyday things, wiping the car, leaning on a shovel, tying his shoes, chopping wood, watering plants, pouring tea, praying, napping. Even on those aimless drives, Suleiman had been sketching him.
How did Nobby feel? Not flattered.
Discomfited, he says. Uneasy. Wondering how he could stay, knowing this deep, hidden affection. But he felt he owed Suleiman for his kindness, despite his own past motives regarding Naila. It was a profound moment, realizing the truth of his master's feelings.
He tried to leave, find a replacement.
He did, but nobody seemed right. Wrong skills, wrong temperament. So he stayed. For 3 more years like that, washing, shaving, feeding, wiping Suleiman the way you do an infant.
Until the late 50s when he bought the wheelchair.
Yeah. Suleiman was embarrassed at first, didn't want to use it. Nabi pushed him, joked he'd lose his mind if they didn't get out, called him like an old woman, made Suleiman cry and laugh.
So the morning strolls started again.
They did. Became a familiar sight around the park, chatting with vendors, policemen, a return to a kind of normalcy.
They took drives again, too, to Pogmayan.
Yes. Suleiman tried sketching with his left hand, struggled. Nabi would just lie beside him while he dozed. Nabi's thoughts drifting to Naila, longing for her. A shared quiet, maybe a shared sense of loss.
Then, 1968. The chess game. Suleiman starts a conversation.
Suggests Nabi should get married before he lost his looks. Then he reminisces about hiring Nabi back in '47.
Acknowledging Nabi wasn't a great cook or driver at first.
Hilariously, yeah. Said Nabi was a spectacularly bad cook initially, and his first driving attempt nearly gave him a stroke. Nabi shocked Suleiman, never complained.
So Nabi asks the obvious question, why did you hire me then?
And this is it, the big confession. Suleiman turns to him and says, because you walked in, and I thought to myself that I had never seen anyone as beautiful.
Wow. Just lays it bare.
Completely. He continues, I knew. It was an impossible thing what I wanted. Still, we had our morning walks and our drives, and I think you understand something of what I'm describing, Nabi. I know you do.
He knew Nabi understood his own longing for Naila.
It seems so. A shared experience of impossible love, maybe. Suleiman finishes, I need to tell you, I have loved you a long, long time, Nabi. Please don't be angry.
And Nabi wasn't angry.
Shook his head no. Nabi says the pain of a life suppressed just hung there between them. Suleiman tells him again, leave, get married, have a family. Nabi deflects with a joke.
But Nabi decides to stay. For himself this time.
Yeah. He reflects that staying wasn't for Suleiman anymore. He'd run once from his sisters, felt bad about it. Now he stayed because he realized he already had what he needed.
Comfort, companionship.
A home where he was welcomed, loved, and needed. He didn't feel that paternal pull. He found his purpose unexpectedly right there. Then Suleiman asked for a promise, without saying what it is.
And Nabi agrees.
Knowing Suleiman so well, he just promises. This acceptance, this realization of belonging, it's profound for Nabi.
The years after that confession, Afghanistan descends into chaos.
Nabi sums it up brutally. War. Or rather wars, not one, not two, but many wars. He condemns all sides, the feuds, snipers, mines, bombs, looting, raping, killing.
His only comfort was Pari being safe.
His vindication, he calls it, knowing she was far away. The 80s were apparently less awful in Kabul itself, but people were leaving. He mentioned seeing Mr. Bashiri and his son Idris leave, Idris being someone Markos later met.
But the 90s brought the fighting right into Kabul.
Yeah. Suleiman tried to ignore it, unplugged the TV, threw out the radio, told Nabi not to bring news, hoped the war would ignore him back. It didn't.
Their street became a war zone.
Bullets, rockets, RPGs.
Right.
When the house got damaged, looting was rampant. Militiamen just walked in, took everything, furniture, art, rugs, silver, crystal, even chipped out the lapis tiles. Nabi could only watch. Helpless, just another old man to them.
And both Nabi and Suleiman were physically declining.
Like the house, yeah,
Right.
wearing down. Nabi's eyesight, his knees, even peeing was an endurance test. Suleiman got thinner, frail, nearly died twice from pneumonia. Nabi nursed him through. That devotion never wavered.
The Taliban's arrival brought a strange kind of peace for Nabi personally.
A personal reprieve, he calls it. As an old man, their focus was elsewhere, the young women. Nabi just grew a beard. Suleiman joked he'd lost his looks, looked like a prophet.
Nabi felt Nyla couldn't have existed in that reality.
He says she had never truly existed in his mind under the Taliban, as if that whole past world, her, Perry, a healthy Suleiman, himself, was just unreal now.
Then, summer 2000, Suleiman's final moments.
Nabi finds him struggling to breathe, face more distorted, making croaking sounds. Suleiman points to the nightstand
The envelope.
with Nabi's name. Inside a single paragraph, Suleiman's will, leaving everything to Nabi. The house, the money, the belongings, even the old car.
And Suleiman reminds him of the promise.
Whispers, "You promised." Nabi tries to argue, deny it, tries to nurse him back one last time. A final desperate refusal to let go.
But eventually,
Nadi lies down next to him, rolls Suleiman to face him, kisses his lips, holds his head to his chest in a long, tight embrace. He says all he remembers after that is Suleiman's pupils spreading out. A deeply intimate, heartbreaking end.
after Suleiman is gone, Nabi feels lost.
Aimless and adrift. The freedom is illusory because the person who gave his life unexpected purpose is gone. He couldn't sleep in the main house, too many memories, too big. Moved back to his shack, got electricity put in,
Tried to find a new rhythm?
read Suleiman's books, planted tomatoes and mint, took walks on aching knees. But solitude didn't suit him, unlike Suleiman. He never felt the house was truly his, even though legally it was. He needed something more.
And that something more arrived in 2002, Mr. Markos.
Exactly. Markos, the surgeon, part of a medical aid group needing a guest house. The translator asks for the owner.
Nabi says, "That's me," and the translator doesn't believe him.
Smirks. "No, Kaka, the owner." Nabi invites them in for tea anyway, on the veranda.
When they talk rent, Nabi says,
Nothing. The translator's shocked. "You're sitting on gold." Nabi tells him off. "Take off your sunglasses when talking to an elder. Just translate, don't advise."
and Nabi's reason for no rent. It's quite moving.
It really is. He says, "You have left behind your country, and you have come here to help my homeland and my countrymen. How could I profit off you?" A powerful statement of his values. The translator just mutters about how the country has changed.
So Markos and his group move in. Nabi hears them at night.
From his shack, yeah. Sees the lights, hears them eating, talking, smoking, listening to jazz. Reminds him of Nyla.
And it's one of Markos's colleagues, Alma Adamovich, who finds out about Nyla.
Yes, Nabi had told her about the Wadadis, that Nyla was a poet. Amra finds an online French anthology of her poems. And the devastating news.
That Nyla died in 1974.
All those years, Nabi spent hoping for a letter. Futile. He says he wasn't altogether surprised. A sad acceptance, maybe.
As Nabi feels his own end approaching, he thanks Markos for everything.
Deeply grateful. For the friendship, the visits, sharing stories, Markos's mother, his friend Thalia, for Markos's compassion for Afghans, his medical work, and for fixing up the house.
The painting, repairs, the garden. Nabi saw that as payment enough.
More than enough. A true exchange of care. But he has two final requests, at the risk of appearing greedy.
First, the burial place.
Shukwan Arfen Cemetery in Kabul. Specific directions. North end, look for the tombstone carved with the poplar tree.
And the second, much bigger request.
Find Perry. Find my niece. Use the internet, maybe. He's left her the will, the house, the money, everything.
And Markos is to give her the letter too, along with a final message from Nabi.
Yes. Both the will and this long letter we've been discussing. And Markos needs to tell her Nabi's last words for her.
What are they?
"I cannot know the myriad consequences of what I set into motion. Tell her I took solace only in hope. Hope that perhaps, wherever she is now, she has found as much peace, grace, love, and happiness as this world allows." It's just steeped in regret, but also this enduring, profound hope for her.
What an extraordinary journey Nabi recounts in that letter. From servant to caretaker, confidant, silent lover, friend.
Absolutely. It shows the massive ripple effects of his choices, reveals these incredible layers of unspoken love, sacrifice, the search for meaning, really.
And it leaves you thinking, doesn't it, about how our personal choices echo through generations. How Nabi's final purpose became this hope for Pari's peace, even after all the loss and upheaval.
It really does. And you wonder, how would receiving a gift like this knowledge, this inheritance, this incredibly complex story, how would that shape Pari's life? What responsibility comes with knowing all of that? It's a lot to leave someone with.